name is John. You already know what it's going to be. It's going down in a few more seconds. Valencia Real Podcast. Let's go.
What's up, fam? It's your boy, Dr. Mike, and it's almost that time to get real, raw, and relatable. Looking forward to talking to y'all soon. Peace.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Terrence. Welcome back to another season of Relentlessly Real Podcast. So excited to have you all back. We got a lot of great stuff. Check us out.
You're now listening to The Real.
Man, I appreciate them dudes for talking about
The Raw.
Wait, they were talking about
The Relatable.
That's exactly what I've been going through.
The Relentlessly Real Podcast.
Welcome. Oh, I'm excited. About it.
Yo.
Welcome to the Relentlessly Real Podcast, where we discuss real, raw, and relatable topics. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to our podcast today. Let's kick this off with some introductions. My name is John.
My name's Mike.
And my dog stepped on a bee.
Your dog stepped on a bee. I don't get it. Is that a drink?
You haven't seen it?
No. What is that?
What is
It's
that?
oh, I gotta find it. Now I gotta find it. From the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial when she was fake crying and my dog stepped on the bee. And then everybody has like remixed it like my cat fell out of a tree. Like everybody has done like a different like meme or joke about the way she did it. Like no matter if you can rhyme it, you can rhyme in any way possible. Like, you know, like Thanos should have snapped his fingers before me. Like everybody has done something.
I have not heard that.
They have been clowning Amber Heard. Like when I say clowning, clowning her. It was
that was a big deal because she lost. I mean, they both won in that case, right?
Yeah,
They both won, but she really did lose because I think she owes him like 10 million, 15, something like that, something crazy.
She ain't got it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I wouldn't have it either if I could get out of not paying, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was actually Johnny Depp's lawyer was really, really good. Like
They were really good.
Like she was firing she was firing people up. I was like sitting there like, okay, sis, get her.
Her lawyers were a joke. No, her case was a joke. That's the problem. Her case. Somebody should have sat her down and be like, ma'am, you have no case here. Like,
so it's interesting because, and not to go too deep in this, we weren't even gonna talk about this, but the Johnny Depp thing, like nobody talked about how much money he probably lost since not getting work for like 5-6 years.
He lost $100 million on Harry Potter and Pirates of the Caribbean alone. So just those two movies by themselves, he lost $100 million.
So I'm like, is it worth? I mean, now he got 10 million or whatever, or
he was suing for more. He only got that much. I think he was suing for like 50, wasn't he? He only got that much.
Okay.
Yeesh, 50.
That's still crazy though, that he lost so much bread over that time period. I mean, all because he met a woman. Isn't that interesting that you meet a woman and that thing take you all the way down to the ground?
They both were crazy. They're both. I mean, but we've always known Johnny Depp was crazy, so it's like that's not a shocker. But I the thing I took about it I liked is I can be crazy and be a lunatic and have a drug problem, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But don't make it seem like I'm out here beating women and out here like raping women. Like
that's the point of the case, right? Like all these different things to justify him doing that thing. And it was like, nah, he might drink.
He didn't do that.
He might do all these things, but he definitely ain't beat on nobody.
Yeah.
So
and the funny thing is, like if you go back and watch his last time I'm saying about it, she lost her own case. Because the moment she brought up his ex, you watch that scene when she brings up his ex and like Johnny Depp pushed his ex down the steps. Her lawyers were like, yes. because they already had her lined up, and they couldn't introduce. They could not introduce a witness. They were not going to use her as use his ex as a witness. But once she brought him up, now they can use her. And so they already knew she was going to deny the whole thing, and that's all they needed him to say. So her testimony was like 4 minutes. He never touched me. He never pushed me. As a matter of fact, when I fell down the steps, he did everything to help me. You know, so it's just like she lost that argument right there because then there's nobody else.
There was a point too where the girl, well, I forget, I don't know the names, but she pooped in his bed. I think that was one of the things that came out of it too. I was like, they were into some seriously kinky stuff.
It was a joke. I was playing a joke. That's not a joke. You are like
not a joke. If you want me, tell me you want me to leave without telling me you want me to leave. It's when you poop in my side of the bed. I think the things are clear now. I think I need to go.
This is over. Okay? This is over. If you bring manure to my bed, like,
yeah, she just busts out the room like, surprise! You thought that was funny? Like,
I'm trying to spice this game room up tonight.
I just think all together, like you said, it was a very messy ordeal. But I just was like. I mean, no pun intended. But at the end of the day, I was kind of like, wow, I was glad that he won it. Actually, he's in a cologne too. He's a endorsement on a cologne. I forget the name of it. But that was another. They stuck by him throughout all that too. So all I wanted to say was like that was a crazy scenario. But no, Terrence, I didn't know about that. But what would you do if this happened to you? So I'll let you see it again. A car stops on a one-lane highway. What? And so somebody stopped on a one-lane car highway. I mean, it was like, going both ways, one way. And essentially the car stopped, hopped out the car, running towards your car, your vehicle. Would you do what this car did? Huh?
It was multiple people too.
So like four people will hop out the car. Again, it's like a sidewall and a sidewall. So there's no way around, guys. If you're listening on the podcast, it's a tunnel, right? So there was no way around. So the person had to literally drive alongside the car, knock the car doors, and also hit the people because the people were running towards their car. So my question of the day is, Terrence or Mike, you're in your car and this car stops ahead of you, hops out the car and runs towards your car. What would you do?
Out of all my years of playing Grand Theft Auto, that would have been my time. 10 points.
Yes.
Yeah.
10 points for each one of them jokers that I hit. If you get out the car, and trying to run up on me?
Yeah.
On me?
Yeah.
Oh, so they were going after the guy who was behind them.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. They were coming after the guy that was on camera that you could see.
Yeah, the dude that was recording, they were trying to jack his car. So I almost end up in a situation like that one time in Philly, right? So I'm actually going to somebody's album release little party or whatever in Philly. I got a car full of people, and what ended up happening was we go down like a one-lane street. It's like, one way going both ways, and I'm headed towards a light and I'm supposed to make a left at this light. There's two cars that actually, like, one speeds up in front of me and then another one speeds up right beside me in the lane of opposite traffic. So I was like, what the heck is they doing? So I eventually, something told me to just brake and hurry up and go left. So I braked a little bit, went left. And when I'm looking towards the street where they were going down, they immediately stopped. So I was like, yo, they tried to pin me real quick. I think they was going to try to rob me. And everybody in the car was like, yo, that was so crazy because they thought the same thing. It was like, yo,
what had to be in PG County.
I'm about to say, I was about to be like, I know exactly where you were. You were in Baltimore, Baltimore.
I already said he's in PG County.
I knew you were going to say
that. Baltimore. That does not happen in Baltimore.
Why? Because they don't have cars? That's the only thing I could think of. Like, you get robbed while walking to your convenience store? Is that what it is?
He is not welcome in my city at all.
I don't want to go back there. You ain't hurting my feelings not one bit.
Ever.
Yeah, man. So everything that light touches, Simba, is our kingdom. But there, you see that? That's Baltimore.
You don't go to Baltimore. Let me tell you something. I'm sorry, but there's one thing that was clear to me when I went to school at Towson was that you driving late at night in West Baltimore, that was the area in which I prayed that my tires didn't go flat, that all the lights were green. I was like, I'm not playing I normally have my music blasting in the car, not through West Baltimore. I'm not bringing no attention to myself.
You know.
I got my hands at 10 and 2, looking straight.
You know,
turn the music all the way down so you can see better.
I want to see better and hear better. I say I don't play with West
Samaritans
Baltimore.
in my city, if you got a flat tire, would stop and help you out, Jonathan. Stop and help you out.
No, what they would do was lift my entire car up and put it into a townhouse or something and rob me. They are ruthless out there, seriously. And so I've never been. What'd you say, Mike?
Help themselves to your tires.
Yeah. So I'm just saying. All I'm saying is, if this would have happened to y'all, I really was thinking about it because when I saw that happen, I was like, man, I don't know what I would do if I saw 4 people or 3 people charging my car. I would do whatever I had to do to get up out of there.
Them.
I don't know if I want to kill them, T.
You're charging at my car. I feel like I'm not gonna. I mean,
would I reverse? Is what I think I would reverse. I would reverse.
Well, here's the thing. I would have went left instead of going right. Like I didn't know if there was any cars coming, so I would have took a moment to speed up and go.
There's a median.
I mean, I would go. There was no cars coming in the opposite direction. After that truck passed, I would have boom and left them. I don't think I would have damaged my car by hitting their door going the right way. I mean, but listen, the first thing you do is whatever comes to your mind first. He did it, and he got out of there, and he's alive to tell the story, and that's what's more important. The more you know, the more you grow. So
thank you. See, that was a good word there, bro.
Yeah, good job.
That was very prolific. So there was another story that took place.
With you, right?
Yeah, he did break up with me, and everyone thinks I broke up with him.
Yeah.
I hate bringing this up, and it's something we tried to keep private, but I'm here. I might as well say it.
Yeah.
We found out we're cousins. Because we're cousins, we had to separate.
This feel like a little Addy moment all over.
And Lincoln is my cousin.
Like, actually,
he is my cousin, so we broke up.
So you wanted to continue the relationship after you found out that you're cousins?
Didn't you used to play dolly house with your cousin and do some things with your cousin? So
that's dolly house.
Yes, so we had a dolly house. You never see
sexual intercourse.
Wasn't our thing looking like a dolly house? I don't know. To me, it was. It was other dollies involved. There was always some shit going on.
So the woman there, she found out her boyfriend was her cousin after dating for 3 years and claimed she was upset when he broke up with her because she wanted to continue dating. This is our segment today for The Earth is Ghetto. I figured it would be a great launching into the conversation. Would you still date your cousin once you find out? Would you say, hey, I know we are, family and all. And actually, that's why I thought I was attracted to you. You kind of looked a little bit like me. I don't know. And that's what made you. I don't know how that happens. I've never experienced that. But that be happening, though.
It doesn't happen. It happens in PG County. It doesn't really happen in Baltimore.
Say something else about PG County. Say something else about my county, okay? We don't date each other's cousins and nephews. No, we don't do none of that. That's just weird. But
that's
are
they first
cousins? Are they second cousins?
It's more of a down south thing. I'm with Mike. It's a down south situation.
Are they cousins-in-law? Are they like
So I had a hard time understanding what she was saying at first. I'm like, all right, she was upset. She found out it was her cousin, whatever. But then as the story went on, I'm like, hold on, she wanted to stick around. I was like,
she wanted to stick around.
Weird. So
3 years in, do you stick around? You're 3 years invested.
It don't matter. It don't matter if it's 5 or 10 years.
Do you know how your heart must sink when you found out somebody's your cousin? Yes. Do you know how your heart? Do you know how your
West Virginia?
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Fact.
I agree with that. And I'm no shade to nobody in West Virginia from West Virginia.
No, all shade. Okay. I'm gonna bring it up to the next podcast, not right now, but a friend of mine put me onto this sacred community in West Virginia. Where the people, everybody in that family is inbred, and when I say it's on YouTube, it's this documentary. I think it's called Dark Underbelly. He documents a lot of things, really good content. And one of the families he documented was this group of people in West Virginia where the family is inbred for decades, and I started to ask myself, because you know how you were told, like when you were younger,
Mhm.
you know, if you sleep with somebody that's in your family, you have kids, they're gonna come up with like some kind of like disability or whatever
Yeah.
it was. I'm like, is that true? I mean, I know because you know how you get told stuff when you were little, and come to find out, yep, it's a lie. They just told you this. So I'm like, I want to Google this to see if it's really true. But this particular family, I can't. Like I can't make this up. I almost want to like show you all like just a clip of it where the guys and it's like the worst possible backwater trailer park looking family you could ever find.
Wow.
And only the mom or the sister could speak. Everybody else could not speak. And so the whole time I'm hearing this barking sound, I'm watching. I'm like, oh, they got some dogs there. I'm about 5 minutes in. I realized that's not the dog. That's the brother. So
Wow.
he could understand, but he could only say run to everything that would happen. And the other two siblings couldn't talk at all.
1,375 why you shouldn't date your cousin.
Yeah,
right
I
there.
mean,
Bro,
I'm
it's bad.
I am baffled by this story.
And it's in West Virginia, and apparently they have the community protects them because I guess they've been targeted for like documentaries and investigations before, because people are just curious at this family, this lineage that's just nothing but inbred, and they just I mean, I don't even understand how they even survive. Like,
T, can you tell me again how do they talk again? T, what was the?
All I know is the one brother was, and it was, and I could not stop. I didn't mean to laugh.
That's ridiculous.
But it's just funny to me because you like.
That's ridiculous. I don't even know if this is true, but it sounds
true.
ridiculous.
Dark underbelly, YouTube it. Dark underbelly, YouTube it.
Let me tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to YouTube this.
I'm going to send it.
I'm actually not going to look at that.
I'm going to send you the link just so you can watch it. And the amount of laughs you all going to have, like, this is not normal.
Yeah.
But
yeah, this actually makes me a little queasy thinking about it. Like,
you can't pull up. They got guns. They protect them. Don't even come in the neighborhood because they think you're about to go pick on them or make fun of them. I'm sorry, I am going to make fun of them. This is some sick, repugnant stuff. It's disgusting. So
okay, we all are very clear on your views as far as dating your cousin, Terrence.
I have a question though, and John and Mike didn't know I was about to do this. Speaking of this, all right, because I only don't do would you rather, but let's just is it a would you rather or is it what if? Okay, so what if you woke up tomorrow?
Okay.
And you spent and you woke up in the opposite sex. You're now a woman for 24 hours. Let's make it even worse. You are now your wife for 24 hours. And your wife is you for 24 hours. Would you let your wife?
What is happening?
Would you let your wife tap that? I want you to think, like, listen to what I'm asking. It's your wife. It's your wife. You're now your wife. She's now you. Would you let your spouse take you to Pound Town in order to figure out what she enjoys? So that way, when you go back to the opposite sex, back to your original sex, you can. Would you do it? I just want to answer.
This is the weirdest and oddest question I've ever heard. I don't think I can answer it, T.
You got to answer. You got to answer. Would you let your wife take you to Pound Town?
You're telling me at this point I now have a vagina?
You now are a for 24 hours. Like you know tomorrow you're gonna wake up and you're gonna go back to your original self. So it's Freaky Friday, whatever it is. What'd you do?
I don't even know. All I'm thinking about is how I'll go to the men's bathroom with a vagina going to pee at the stall.
You gotta go to the women's bathroom.
Am I still a man in my head? Am I still a man in my head?
You are.
Do I look at women as attractive as a woman?
You always add stuff
man,
to it.
there's too many caveats.
No, let's just say it's you and your wife, and she pulls up. Well, you're now your husband because you're the wife, and John. She says, John.
Okay, I'm gonna answer right now. T. This is what I will say. Okay. I will let her. She can hit, but I won't give her oral.
Yes, it's recorded. We got
it. I won't let her put that joke in my mouth. put my joke in my mouth.
That's why it's such a good question. It's
I'm
such a
smacking
good
that
question.
away. I'm like, nope, put that away.
Mike, what say ye? What say ye? What say ye, Mike?
I think Mike's leaving the podcast. Terrence, I want to know how high and drunk were you to think this thought?
Listen, it's a good question because
so
I'm like,
funny.
if you let your wife hit, even when you go back, somebody just, I can't get past it. Somebody
Hold on. So Brandy said you got to hit back. What does that even mean?
I don't even know.
Hey, yo, that means I got like.
We gotta have a debrief after I've been her though. We gotta talk about that. Like, I didn't like how you threw me on the bed. I didn't like how you manhandled me. That I felt
you ain't had to bend me over like that. You didn't have to bend like
right. That's just you already know I'm uncomfortable, so you really should ease me.
So are you now gay? Are you now gay the next day when you go back?
No, because this is Freaky Friday. Clearly, there's some weird stuff going on all day.
I don't think I can do it.
Terrence, I want to leave this entire subject here. I am so mortified. That you decided to go there.
You know what?
I just had to ask. On the internet.
Question. After this,
I'm just like, bro, we can't do nothing. Yep. Anyway, Apple has decided they revealed an iOS 16 update that will allow users to unsend and edit messages that they send. And I thought that this was a very interesting ploy by Apple. I was kind of surprised that they decided to do that. But they said, according to Apple's press release, users can edit or recall recently sent messages, recover recently deleted messages, and mark conversations as unread so they can come back to them later. In addition, a new feature called SharePlay will be available in iMessage. The feature will sync context like movies or songs and share playback controls through text. So I thought this was a very interesting thing because I'm like, why would I ever need to, if they saw it, right? They see the text. Mm-hmm. Why would I need to be able to recall the text that I know that they saw? I'm trying to figure out, like, I feel like Apple's like, we have nothing new to do, so we're going to just do stuff with the stuff we already have. And that's what I feel like this is. Because I'm like, why would you need to, like, I know you saw it, and you know I saw it. So why would you take it away?
The only time this comes in handy, and I'm not encouraging this at all, but I'm just thinking, and,
yes, he is,
outside the box. Get out of here. So imagine if you got a sneaky link, right? But you end up sending the text that was meant for your sneaky link to your main. And then you like, oh, shoot, where's her phone at? And her phone's not around her. You can hit unsend and it never happened. That's what I imagine situations like that for.
That is very diabolical.
It is.
So you're telling me
right?
they made a whole new function for that though? That's such a
just for that. No,
that's such a specific thing. I was sitting there like, why
I think that's the case. Imagine I send the wrong thing to somebody. I'm giving Apple the benefit of the doubt. They were thinking more for like professional things or communications, and I send the wrong message.
They've already seen it. Yes, most likely you've already seen that text message unless your phone is somewhere else.
Does it send them a notification that I deleted the message?
I don't know.
Because at that point, that's different. If it doesn't send a notification, I could be like, "What message? I didn't say that. Look, go scroll."
It's clear though. All they had to do is screenshot the phone of whatever they did.
If they screenshot, it's going to be a lot of screenshots.
If they screenshot, what? The screenshots will go from 0 to 1,000. Okay, because they'll be like, "Oh, let me capture this before he takes it back." Yeah, no takesy backsies, not at all, not at all. You gotta live with that, So I thought that was an interesting thing. I'm like, that's a dumb update, but I feel like at this point, Apple has no idea.
Cool though. What is cool though is that they did the unsend. I've been asking for that for not the unsend, the unread. I've been asking for that for years. I'm like, yo, I need an unread or mark as unread in iMessage.
Even when you read it.
Yeah, because like I can sit back and look at something, but if I say, oh, I gotta go back to it, or I need to reread it, or like just to remember that I need to go back to this text message or something, I gotta put a reminder in my phone to go back and look at this text message. Or I got to pin it or something like that. Let me just mark it as unread again, so I can know like all of my unreads. I need to go back and view them again.
Yeah.
I think it's genius.
I'm glad you think it's genius. I didn't think it was that great of an idea, but I'll leave it there. One thing I want to get to before I get to your thing, T. Miss Monique and DL Hughley were in the news, man. I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was a lot of controversy because apparently there's this big thing between who was the headliner. That was like a big deal. I'm honestly starting to believe Lee Daniels, Oprah, everybody about Monique at this point. But this is what Monique had to say. Now, they were on the event together, they were both basically were misunderstood of who the headliner is. Nobody knew who the headliner was. DL Hughley said he was a headliner, and Monique said she was a headliner according to their contractual obligations, right? So the bottom line is, once they received the contract, that's what they thought. When they got to the venue, they realized that wasn't the case. The real DL Hughley was the actual headliner, and because of that, this is what she had to say.
Let me say it again, the headliner. That's what the motherfucking contract says. Monique is to be the last motherfucking person on the goddamn stage. She is the headliner. That's what I signed the fuck up for. I'm 30 plus years in this motherfucking business, and I don't open for no goddamn body. The contract said the headliner. The contract said the headliner. The contract said the headliner. But a nigga named D.L. Hughley turned into a bitch and said, I won't perform if she does that. I won't go out if she does that. Nigga, you open for the kings of comedy. I close for the queens of comedy, nigga. And you think because I don't have a dick, that ain't my position, nigga. So when I leave this motherfucker, the headliner has left. I don't fuck with nobody. I don't fuck with no motherfucking body. But when you cross the line with me, nigga, you have crossed the motherfucking line. And that bitch, nigga, has crossed the motherfucking line. See, we got a history, nigga. We got a history. That nigga went on a tour talking about all Monique wasn't. You can Google it right now. D.L. Hughley on Monique, all I wasn't, what I wasn't worth, all of this bullshit. And nigga, you put your feet under my motherfucking table. See, you came to my home, nigga, and you put your feet under my motherfucking table. I don't get down like that, goddammit. You got a bitch wrong. You talk about Young Thug, and because of their names, nigga, your name is DL. What the fuck does it stand for? Hey!
So not long after that, DL Hughley goes on stage and is the headliner. Right after she finishes demolishing his entire name, brand, etc. So thoughts, gentlemen, what do you think?
So
What'd you say, T?
I hate her.
yeah,
I was like really rooting for her when she finally got like when they apologized to her.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's so nice. Like you know,
Yeah.
Lee Daniels and all. I was like, okay, good. Now, we got some redemption.
Now we can move on.
The
Yeah.
world needs this. We need to see our black people united, whatever it is.
Sure.
And then she does this, and I'm just like, even if you're right, like even if you are right, you did not handle this.
You know?
It was so. And the thing that makes me mad is that like we teach kids about to be mature and to be respectful and to handle things in an appropriate way and go the right ways and etc. And she counters all of that. And it's similar to like a Will Smith. We teach them that, like, and my issue is with Monique is just when there's smoke, there's fire. I 100% believe now everything that everybody has said about Monique.
Yeah.
Everything about Monique. And she's like, I saw one person on TikTok who was reviewing it said that DL was his issue was, and even on DL's side, could they both individually fill an arena, fill a comedy venue, a large comedy venue right now, like both, you know, like could they both sell 10,000, 20,000 tickets by themselves?
Not
together,
an arena.
yes, you know,
Not an arena.
Not an arena. I don't think they have that, and I think DL is hilarious. I love his podcast. I love his radio show. I like his content or whatever it is, but I like it, and I'm from an older generation. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I like it.
You say
anybody else right now could care less. you know, and so that was she just I don't understand. I think she's a mental disability, honestly.
Wow, that's a bit much.
I do.
That's a bit
Oh
much.
shoot.
I don't think
needs
she's a
help.
mental disability. I think she's just,
Or she needs some therapy. She needs some
she's been hurt a
Definitely
lot.
need some therapy.
She needs some
I will
therapy.
go
Let
with
me say
that.
that.
The fact of the matter is, he still ended up being the headliner. Like,
Yep.
you know, you said all of that.
All of that.
But
Next
yet-
to the stage, DLU.
Exactly. Like, what? Like, come
It's
on,
so
man.
awkward to me. I'm like, how do you do that before he gets on stage?
And
It's just weird.
Yeah. I mean, and you know what? He probably brushed it off like, yeah, so here comes the headliner. Let's go,
Yeah.
y'all. Okay.
Yeah.
But like I really wish she would have handled that better. Even if there was a contractual like situation that happened in the back end, whatever, man. Like you're all of you is still a brand. Like, because she's been in the game for so long, whatever, like that, right? Everybody heard it. Like, you are your own brand, so you got to be careful with that, with everything you say and you do.
Yeah.
And even if you decided to okay, there's an issue with this contract, I'm gonna go on, but just know I'm not going to do business with you again, or I'm gonna question it later on, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
100%.
And that's the whole purpose of taking the high road. Like, what's the best possible outcome? I'm still gonna have my, you know, the clout to my name, and I'm still going to keep it pushing. But I mean, that's pushing the envelope anyway, because like you said, Terrence, like after this moment, everything that everyone else has said about her
it feels right.
It feels right. It feels like it fits. So it's unfortunate. Man, she raunchy as a mug. Is it just me, or like
no, she be cursing.
Yeah,
she be every other word, right? And then it's kind of, I think what I feel like, and I don't know if this is, you guys can gauge this for me better, but I don't know if this is wrong to say, but it feels like I feel less away for her when I hear her talk like that. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm like, I don't have much sympathy for you because you're so crass with your language. I can see why people would be like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And the energy was it's weird, right? Like, because I'm like, you've made millions and millions of dollars. And as you know, because you guys know I listen to Kevin Hart's podcast, but I liked what they talked about it when they addressed it. They were like, yo, people came there to hear a show. They did not come here to hear about your contractual obligations and your millions of dollars that you've made, or hundreds of thousands of dollars that you made at this venue. Like, it's not fair to the people that came there to hear you do some jokes and laugh, and you make it about you in a headliner situation. I think it was really petty of her.
And that's what DLU was saying, especially with all the crap that's going on. I mean, he responded on his show, and he was like, and he very calm, and like, which, like I said, he's very calm. He just countered. He presented his statement. He said, and the second like he said, the people you hurt most was the audience. They're not here for this. Like, it makes sense. They're here for us to perform, and with all the crap that's going on in the world. Like, matter of fact, that was the very next day after the Uvalde shooting, and so where we need to hear people, like, make sense. People like need to hear some comfort, some joy, whatever it is,
even if it is through laughter. Yeah. It might even been the same day. It might even have been the same night or whatever it was, and it's unfortunate. Yeah, but she definitely pushed the envelope, called them all types of names and everything like that. Like, I'm seeing what my brother said, man. He's talking about Robert Williams. He's talking about, hey, it got to be on site. I'm just like, yo.
Well, she getting smacked the crap out of on site. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but Burger King is reaching out for Pride. All right, so they're doing something that's kind of somewhat unprecedented. Whereas they're saying, hey, man, we're going to do a nod towards Pride Month. And Burger King in Austria is celebrating Pride Month with a special burger. The company unveiled their Pride Whopper this week, which consists of 2 identical buns. The special item was created for equal love and equal rights, according to translation of the fast food chain's Austrian website. We are setting an example for individuality and freedom and stand for a respectful interaction with each other. The description continued: equal rights, empathy, understanding, no matter where you come from, no matter who you love, no matter what you look like or what you believe in. Time to be proud.
Shout out to their marketing team. I think it's an excellent sense of marketing.
I just think it's also. I think we have to. I think it's one of those things of like, no. I'm not even gonna clown it.
No,
Like,
I have
I
my
leg-
thought. Go ahead.
I legit
Yeah, me
believe
too.
it's one of those like Black Lives Matter thing that they don't. It's like you're doing a nod to something that is everybody's on that wave right now, and you're trying to be like on that wave too. And this is your way of doing so.
It is. It doesn't move any needle, so that's what.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why I'm laughing. It's just like soon when I go to Target on Juneteenth and see all these Target clothes, all these black things in the front. Oh, that's nice. That's what's
Yeah,
up.
it's cute.
That's cool. That's what's up. Cool. But your coworkers are still following me around the store, looking like I'm about to steal.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I kind of feel
I-
the same way about like Juneteenth that's coming up, right?
Yeah.
Now that they turn that into a holiday, I feel as though like you're bound to see promotional things happen around that
Yeah.
time of the year.
Yes.
So another reason why I was kind of chuckling at this because I seen the same post or at least the same picture, but there was a different like title on it. It was saying something about like it was referencing tops and bottoms, and I lost it when I seen it, and I was like, oh shoot. So I thought it was the exact same thing, but it's something a little different. So I think this was the real post, and somebody edited this one and said something about like tops and bottoms. I'm trying to find it because
T, do you want to have an all tops burger or all
I
bottoms
just feel like if I go to Burger King and get my Whopper,
uh-huh.
I wanna the top of the bun and the bottom of the bun. Pause. I'm gonna go back and be like, yo, I did not go to Burger King to stand to like, and I'm all for like equal rights, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's not. I want my burger. I just want to eat my burger. Like,
Please.
I just want
Leave the burger alone.
I don't want
Everything
sesame seeds on top and bottom.
Yes, it'd be to say that like if they decide on Juneteenth to bring a black bun to celebrate Black Lives Matter or Juneteenth, I don't want no black bun either. I want the regular bun that comes with my burger. And as a black man, I'm still gonna be like, thank you so much. Can you take this crap off and give me the regular bun that's supposed to come on my burger?
You said if they like dyed the bun black or something like
Yes.
that? Yeah, wow.
If they just like, or they use, I don't know. I just feel
You
like
guys know that Walmart did something, right? Like they did this Juneteenth. They apologized for doing a Juneteenth ice cream, right? Did y'all see that? Where they did they got like a black hand and a slightly lighter hand slapping fives. We Juneteenth out here.
and the
y'all.
music, wait, not the. It's the music icons.
Yes.
It's the music.
Yeah,
So they have attributed us to music icons. So all we got to offer is
yes. And they're like, and they had to retract this. Like they were like, yo, so sorry. We thought y'all would love this Juneteenth ice cream edition. Like, no, we don't love it. Dag on it. What are you thinking about?
It was some museum in Indianapolis that had like a Juneteenth. It was they were serving like watermelon and chicken in the restaurant for celebration of Juneteenth. And I'm like, yo, whoever is working for your marketing team is just like,
tell me you're racist without telling me you're racist. just finding ways to just demolish racism. You know,
are you gonna get the ice cream though?
What? They retracted it. I would have got it on Juneteenth. If it's out there, do you think I'm going to stop? I'm going to get that Juneteenth ice cream, and I'm going to post me trying it for the Relentlessly Real podcast. People, come on now, you guys got to try this ice cream.
Need to know.
The people got to know this is good quality ice cream. I hope they have watermelon flavor for me. Okay, I like it. Yeah, it was just too funny for me. I had to share that particular thing because at Walmart, I said they were like, "Oh, we're so super sorry that y'all were offended by this," and that's the thing that they're like. I'm like, even with the pride thing, I was like, you guys are clearly just like, what's the word that they do in politics? I forget the name of it, but it's like what they're pandering. You know, towards whatever, you know, the thing is, the end thing is. So when Black Lives Matter, it was Black Lives Matter everywhere. On the NBA, when they were in a dome, people dying. It's all like, so you don't know who's really with the movement or who's really in support of the actual thing or who's just trying to say, if this is going to make me get more money out of people, then I'll put whatever on the front of the
advantage of the hype. Right now,
because everybody's about it right now. You know,
you can just release a statement. That's all. You could just release a statement to show your solidarity. You don't gotta
No, I agree. I agree. Terrence sent me this. I don't know what it is. Let's go.
I just don't feel like nobody helped me.
Man, what is it you need me to do?
Like I need help cleaning up and stuff around the house sometimes. Look, when you sweep, you gotta get in the corners really get in the corner good. Like all that.
See, you
right
messy
there,
right now.
Get that out of there. That ain't how you put that up there. See, I don't like that tag like that. Please act like you care when you fluff the pillow, please. Did you clean all of this down? Like all of this gotta get cleaned. That's how you clean the toilet.
Man, I'm about to just go get the cars washed. I'll be back.
I feel seen.
Do you not? Fellas, if you on this chat and you got a girl, wife, it is the worst thing when you ask me to help and you ask me to clean and you ask me to do something to help you out. And then along the way, you're critiquing everything I do. Well, you know what my line is? You can do it. Your damn self. That's literally how I feel when that happens. Like, please don't be this lady. And
I will say that.
Yo,
Go ahead.
I will say I don't. I experienced this earlier. I don't experience it now. I experienced it earlier when I first got married. Oh my god! Because I used to be like, okay, so what we're not going to do is we're not going to judge how I put the dishes into the dishwasher, or we're not going to judge how I put the dishes into the cabinets. Like how we stack them will not be judged. Like it's a cabinet, right? Like, you know what I mean? So I will. There's validity there. I have to say,
it's validity.
So I totally agree with that. And like you said, John, I feel seen a little bit because, yeah, I don't know if y'all heard me doing, but I was just like, oh yeah, that touched the
nerve.
Touched the nerve a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Don't y'all know that meme that's going around? Well, it's been going around for years about like Samuel Jackson. I forget what movie he's in, but he's just looking like he's kind of staring into the That's how I am. If Renee was to come behind me and say, "Oh, well, you should do it like this," I'm like, bruh, please.
Respectfully, you could just, you know what?
There's no respectful way to do it though. You either do it their way or you just don't do it right. There's just, I mean, honestly.
Well, I will say it's gotten better though. We've gotten better with communication and understanding each other in that area. And some things I just go ahead and let her do because she does it a certain way, and I'm gonna just go get the car washed. You feel me?
And that'd be the point. It's just like, you know what? Obviously, you like it done a certain way. I can't do it. I yield. I cannot do it as good as you can do it.
Yeah.
You know what?
I feel like somebody said in I think I saw this one before because I think somebody said in there like they do it the men do it that way on purpose so that they don't have to do it. Like they do it wrong so that the woman's like you mean like this and know that they ain't know what they do. You mean
Stop
do it like
giving
this?
Out trade secrets. Stop giving out trade.
Right.
That's supposed to stay in the frat.
Yeah.
That
you cleaning up
bro.
everything, and do you leave like a couple pieces of trash here and there? Like, cool.
Did you not see this? Did you
knowing it's gonna piss them off? And speaking of relationships, Laurie Harvey and Michael B. Jordan split. Surprisingly, over the weekend, people exclusively broke that the pair had split after over a year together. A source close to the model and influencer now tells people that Harvey wasn't ready to commit. She is very focused on her career, the source adds to the founder and CEO of SKN by LH. According to the insider, Harvey, 25, realized that they weren't on the same page, while she and Jordan, who is 35, were making plans for their future. She still wants to have fun and be free. The source says Michael is a great guy. She is sad that their relationship didn't work out, but she is moving on. So basically, she left him. Irony that was actually kind of like somebody left Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, the memes and the TikToks that have been anti Laurie Harvey have been hilarious.
They have,
like
people don't like that she left Michael B. Jordan.
They was like, Laurie, are you a homosexual? Like what is wrong with you? Like,
yeah. My thing is, okay, it's cool. if she decides she want to go through with that, and live her life right now, she's what 20? She's in her 20s. He's in his 30s, right? Like, yo, I'm thinking back to when I was 25, what I was doing in the mindset and stuff that I was in. I'm like, yo, I still got a lot more years to go. Rather than me getting closer to like my 30s or whatever. I'm like, all right, and
I just want to make sure you guys see. Because I didn't know Laurie looked like that. I ain't gonna hold you. I was like, that's Steve Harvey's daughter.
he ain't like some of them pics. He told that to Ellen. He ain't like some of those pics.
Let me tell you something, T. If I open up Instagram and see my daughter's boob being cupped by another man, I am. Woo!
It's gonna be cupped one day. It's gonna be cupped, cuffed, fluffed, flicked.
It won't be cuffed up. Hold on. First of all, you need to relax. That's my daughter's boob you're talking about. You said plucked and fluffed? Did you say fluffed? Was fluffed one of those?
Fluffed, flicked, picked,
hold on. I don't even know what a fluck is, but I know you gotta say the fluck out of my daughter's off my daughter's bosom. You better say the fluck off of it.
So whole time, one of these pictures showed up on Steve Harvey's show, and that John made him so uncomfortable.
She was sitting on his lap, right?
Yeah, he's just sitting there like, man, I don't even know why y'all showing that right now. Like,
that's so weird.
Yeah.
As a dad, I can only imagine. That's so weird.
I'm not pro. So let me be very clear. I've never been like pro Laurie. I don't even know who she really is. I don't.
What does she do? I was about to say she worried about her career. I'm curious. Like,
I never thought she was. And the funny thing is, I actually don't think Michael B. Jordan can act, so I'm not pro Michael B. Jordan either.
Whoa.
Yeah, I said what I said. I think he has not demonstrated to me he has any like massive like talent. But I understand. I understand why he is. I mean, he's eye candy. He gets roles. He's not a horrible actor.
I'm not trying to stop you, but look at these are the pictures that they show when they said after he found out he got broken up.
he went out that night.
But look at his face. They was like, he's hurting, y'all. They had me cracking up.
He don't even want to talk about it.
Look at that face. You're on the front row. You can't enjoy the daggone Golden State.
Yo, shout out to him for going out. But this goes back to a conversation. This is and it's all speculation. I try not to get too much into what celebrities go through or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
But I think what the issue is, somebody was saying, one of my friends sent me this thing that says there are three types of men have three types of girls, and it says there's the girl who they just want to bang, there's the girl who they like her, they date her, she's really serious, but they'll never marry her, and then there's the girl he marries. And I said I don't think that's true. I think men have two types. I said either the chick he just wants to bang, if he's serious with her, she's obviously someone, if he's into marriage, that he'll want to marry one day. That's it. There is no in between with us. I think what happens is men get to an age where they're just ready to be married and they're ready for a serious commitment. And Michael B. Jordan, he's along that age. He's 30 something. I think this is one of the first girls he's ever gone public with, because he's had plenty of girlfriends. This is the first one he's gone like public with. And so he's showing he's at that age where he's just ready to like settle down, be really serious. So if the report is true, she's just not there yet, and that's okay. It's honestly, I'm not team Laurie, I'm not team Michael. I think it is okay if you're not ready to go that route, then just shut it down. Don't waste somebody's time. Make sense? So you can call her stupid, but I do give her credit for like not wasting his time or whatever it is. Now on the flip side, you don't want them. There's 3.7 billion women, other women.
Hundreds of women slid in that DM the day that they broke up.
Immediately.
The day they broke up.
Those DM messages going off.
Yes.
I think it's a big deal when you put in that kind of time. I think he said 2 years. When you take that kind of time out of your life, I think it's more so for the 35-year-old versus the 25-year-old. Because the 25-year-old is like, I got time. The 35-year-old is like, yeah, man, like the time is dwindling. And if you feel like if you're a man and you're Michael B. Jordan and you're at that point where you're like, I want to settle down, that's embarrassing. I'm sorry, I couldn't. It couldn't be me. It couldn't be me. I got abs. Okay, I'm Michael B. Jordan. You ain't gonna tell me no. You got what I'm saying? You go. I'm gonna know it's gonna be a yes before I ask the question. You gonna definitely be saying yes. Nah.
So and Imagine that mindset, right? And now with all the pictures that's going out there, he's probably like, yeah. Now they making her look bad. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
hurting over here. I'm hurt.
I would be looking
He
sad
trying to feed
everywhere.
into it.
I'd be looking
Yeah.
sad everywhere, drinking alone on purpose.
Right.
Like girls, like, can I go with you? No, I want to just be alone.
No.
Just be sad.
Wait,
but I just
like
think,
5 minutes away for him to come back. Yeah, you can go ahead. Come along with me.
I just think it's one of those things where you got to be careful. I mean, I think women and men are obviously on a different trajectory when it comes to marriage and all that. Like, I feel like men are less likely to do it earlier in life. I feel like, and women are the ones that kind of want it. It's a lot of interesting dichotomies when it comes to between men and women, because, like, think about it. Men's sex drive usually is higher on this is broad strokes, higher than women, and then women want sex less than men. Men on par usually don't want to get married to their later in their like 30s. Women want to get married like at 18, 20. Usually, this is all broad strokes, right?
Yeah.
So like just seeing that situation happen play out the way it did, I was like, man, I was surprised that it kind of happened that way,
Yeah.
But either way, best of luck to Michael B. Jordan. There's two more.
I think he was a really good actor in Without Remorse. I think he did that role good.
I hated him in that role.
Without Remorse,
bro.
I don't know.
My favorite role with him, Mike, since you went there, is the one where the three friends chronicle, where they discovered they had like powers all of a sudden.
Yeah,
I thought he was great in that. Like, and without Remorse, he just seemed angry. He said to me, he seemed very like he did in Black Panther. I haven't seen him in a role right now where he didn't remind me of Black Panther. And so I need him so I'm not saying he can't act. Let me retract that statement. I just want to see him diversify his portfolio a little bit.
Oh,
like,
okay.
It's not like
he's playing like as of recently. He's playing like similar roles.
Typecasted. But listen, first of all, get you like The Rock is typecasted, and I've seen The Rock.
He's killed that lane though.
I've seen The Rock play like some significant
What role has he done that's significant? I don't think The Rock's done a significant.
So
role.
I've seen him. So there was it's called Be Cool, and it was like an all-star cast. This is when he was first like becoming famous, and he was so different in that role. So I've seen him play different roles where he can maximize his serious and maximize his comedy more so than just his action. Because right now he's just all action. And The Rock can be very comedic. And so, like even for the moment when you was watching wrestling, I knew you could tell he was very believable. Like The Rock is very believable.
Yeah.
And so he's being typecasted. But listen, at the end of the day, I gotta feed my family. And at this point, The Rock's children's children, they're good. Will never be broke.
Yeah,
right.
And he has the image, down pat. Like, because I think I know he did wrestling, but he did football at one point, or was it just wrestling?
I don't remember football. Maybe back in the day before wrestling, but nah, I don't think so.
Okay. I don't know. I could be making something up there. But actually, speaking of sports, we've already discussed sports here on the show, and we still don't want to really discuss sports actually in this particular thing. But Deshaun Watson, have y'all heard about the stuff that's been going on with that? So he had a massage therapist in the latest suit that he has, where Watson got an erection in one of their sessions in 2020 and accused the NFL star of encouraging her to touch his penis, according to online court records. The lawsuit said Watson allegedly began to masturbate and ejaculated with some of his ejaculate getting on the accuser's face. I don't mean to laugh because I just didn't like the way they said ejaculate over and over again. But ejaculate getting on the accuser's face and chest. Watson would then pay the therapist and didn't apologize. The lawsuit said she would then quit massage therapy after the incident with the quarterback, according to the suit. It goes on to say Tony Busby, the plaintiff's attorney, issued a statement on the lawsuit saying, "Today we filed the 24th case alleging sexual misconduct against Deshaun Watson. The allegations made in this new case are strikingly similar to those made by many of the other victims. Lost in the media frenzy surrounding Deshaun Watson is that these are 24 strong, courageous women who, despite ridicule, legal shenanigans, and intense media scrutiny, continue to stand firm for what is right." So apparently this is the 24th allegation, and he literally took his eggplant out and started masturbating in front of her and got some sour
allegedly
cream.
Sour cream.
Allegedly.
Ranch dressing, if you will. Okay. I don't know. Allegedly on her chest and face. You don't. So I'm getting that you don't believe these allegations.
No.
It's not
he had 66 women allegedly. Or he had 66 different massage therapists in a matter of a year.
Mm-hmm.
He has a sex addiction.
That's
Number one.
massages.
Fact.
It's a lot of massages.
It's a lot of massages. They're giving happy endings. So his lawyer is basically saying, "Hey, listen, happy endings is not sexual. It's not. He hasn't done anything wrong that was not like the women did not agree to, and they were paid. And so it's not like he didn't commit a crime. Well, technically, paying somebody for sex is illegal in that
regard. Yeah.
So let's be very clear. Number one, so he didn't do something illegal, whatever it is. But my issue is, he's had these women sign non-disclosure agreements. I know the lawyer for the girls has also filed a lawsuit today against the Houston, Texas as an organization today. That dropped today. They're also suing the Texans as well because they're agreeing that they were complacent, like in this, and they were the ones that supplied complicit and complacent, meaning they knew what was going on and they were just okay with it, and they also helped. So it's just it's an issue of like it. My issue is two things. I think two things can be true. He has a problem. The actions that he did are harmful. They may not be illegal, but they do impact the NFL's conduct player policy. And so he should be suspended a year or more because of what he did. Do I believe he did illegal stuff, or do I think that women are just trying to get a payday? I don't have any. Only thing I say is if a grand jury did not want to file charges, that's telling. Like again, a grand jury is saying we're not filing, which means there's not enough evidence to pursue. We can't even have him stand trial, and I think that right there is telling. Right, number one. I'm go ahead.
So that's around the lines of what I was thinking. Right, like you said, two things can be true, and I get that people are coming forth, they're talking about it and everything like that. And not to say that he didn't do it. But it just reminds me of other situations that have happened in the past where people like, you can kind of get the sense of like folks trying to collect a buck, you know what I'm saying? Like they trying to take advantage of a situation, and that's not far-fetched either. So it's just kind of hard to tell. Yeah. It's kind of hard to tell what side you want to be on in this type situation. Both things can be wrong, right? Both things can be true and both things can be wrong. I'm gonna say that
because I think if you were ever, what I say is like again, he has a problem. Like I don't know if he did it or didn't do it. I think he should be suspended. And people were saying, well, he sat out. He didn't play for a whole year because of this, but he got paid, so that's not the same thing. Yeah. The NFL specifically needs to address this. If they don't, it sends a wrong. They're in a bad position because they have to suspend them for some games. If they don't, it sends a message that women aren't their lives don't matter. So they have to, he's in a bind. He has to be suspended. But my issue is like, bruh, where are your mentors? Like, who's around you as to say, bruh, you are $100 million already quarterback. Yeah. That you don't go out. Like, just don't go anywhere.
Well, if he's addicted to it, then you really can't. He really probably can't control himself. I mean, if you whip out your penis, bro, and at the end of a session and stroke that joint in front, you're addicted. Okay,
but if the other 65 did do it,
and I'm sorry,
I'm assuming
how does a massage? I ain't never got a massage that made me. Now I will say this: I think we talked about this. I don't know if we talked about this on podcast or not. But there was a time where I had to make a decision, okay, and I decided to let this man massage me.
It's a coming out party, huh, John?
Right. This is the episode.
No, I felt away because I was like, man,
right? It was either him or.
No. It was like I wanted. They were like, do you care? And I had just not. I wasn't thinking. They were like, do you care whether it's a man or woman? I was like, I don't really care. And then it was like, oh crap, I do care. And then it was too late.
It was too late.
I was already laying on the table. and then the guy came in with the oils.
I ain't nothing else to add.
And for roughly an hour. Yeah, roughly an hour.
An hour?
That's how long. That's how long massage sessions last.
They 30 minutes, 45. I know this 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. You pick an hour.
I will say that he did use the right amount of pressure, okay, to receive better backs. Either way, I was trying to make an earlier point of how I don't think you get the erection from massages. I think that's a very interesting thing that
I don't think as a straight male you would get an erection from a man massaging you.
I've gotten massages from women too, Terrence. I'm not just speaking about the last massage.
Were they
the last
hideous,
massage
John?
I did get.
Were they hideous?
No. What, the man?
I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah. Walter said y'all did talk about this before. If you would let your wife take a male or female massage. No. Yeah, that was different. This was a separate situation. Yes, we did talk about that. Because we were talking about how if it was a male and a female, who would take who?
Yeah, I think this was off the air, like when we had this type of conversation.
The one I just talked about just now. We had ended the podcast, and then we were talking about massages, and I forgot that. Yeah, I did have a man. He did. Anyway, the bottom line that I'm trying to make. Okay, guys, we gotta stay on track. That's the problem. We don't know how to track. We don't know how to stay on track in the podcast. That's the problem. So the bottom line was, I don't think Deshaun Watson. I'm like, I agree with you, T. They should punish him. They absolutely should punish him if any of these allegations are even close to being true. And honestly, with all the evidence that we've seen with other scenarios where there's been like black men that have been either famous or superstars or whatever, I'm like, we gotta start doing better job reprimanding those stars like we would
accountability for sure, man.
Yeah.
If he went to 66 massages, like 66 in a year, like 66 different, not even that's times 66 different women have massaged him within the span of a year. Like,
and that could possibly be because of the situation that's unfolding, right? Like some folks probably don't know about the situation that's happening. Some folks probably, what was it? It was like the first 6 or 8 or something that was coming out. This is still within that same year. I could be wrong about this, but as you go on, I'm thinking, you got 8 people or whatever that are saying, hey, these allegations towards you, you still want to be able to get your massages. Now he got like multiple people. He has to go through multiple people, but I'm just at this point, I feel like I'm just making up stuff. Dude, he might have a problem.
He got a problem.
I think we're gonna smoke this fire.
Yeah. I'm gonna end with Terrence's video that he had for us, and this is what he had, guys.
Know how to speak to a man.
Hold on.
Some of you women don't know how to speak to a man. You feel justified because you're right. The goal's not to be right. The goal is for us to move forward. And you can be right, but if you're right without respect and honor, he's not hearing you. Some of you men don't know how to talk to a woman. When you speak to a woman, it has to be laced with 2 things, with sensitivity and with safety. So you come home because you've been talking with your homeboys and you're excited. Hey, babe, I got this idea. Look, I'm going to quit my job. We're going to move about 30 miles outside of town. There's a piece of land out there. As soon as you said quit job, she's not saying she hates your idea. She's saying you haven't unpacked it enough to make her feel safe. Do you know what he hears? You don't trust me. You have to learn how to communicate the way that they hear, not the way that
you communicate. That's what the ending thing says.
Yeah. I just thought that was dope. I like how he had a message for the girls and the guys.
It just wasn't one-sided. Yeah.
And I think it's like, as we grow like dealing with relationship dynamics, like somebody could be right, but they could have communicated it the wrong way.
Mhm.
And a lot of times that when people have communication issues or arguments as a couple or whatever it is, I think it all falls back to what was communicated and how it was communicated.
Yeah.
And broad strokes, he's speaking broad strokes, whatever it is, as far as men. A lot of times, like when we get feedback from it's not packaged right. And a lot of times when we give feedback to women, it's not packaged right. And so the message is lost because of how it's packaged. And so I think continuing to do the work, like continuing to do the work and to invest in how men think and how men receive messages. I think women should do way more of that. And then as a man, continuing to have how women hear messages and how they feel, I think men need to do more work at doing that. And a lot of these issues, I think, won't break up relationships, but we don't do the work. And we're not taught that prior to. We just hear, communication. There's no more to it. And I follow a lot of content on TikTok. A lot of the content that I follow is just about like breaking barriers between men and women. Just so there's a lot of like healing that goes on as you progress in a relationship.
Yeah, no, I think that's interesting. I agree with the dialogue about it. I guess the only thing that I'm like, yeah, the packaging is important. I think overall, what I believe as far as I think men, like I still stand by men being more analytical and logical, and again, broad strokes that women are more emotional in their thinking or how they receive it. And it doesn't always have to be the case. I think it's subject by subject too. It depends on what you're talking about. But it also is very important for all of us to kind of like listen. I think we haven't. What I'm learning about just women in general is like the listening factor and the application factor are huge. Like listening and applying. Like actually, and when I say listen, I mean like not just hear, like audibly, but like hear past what the person is saying. Right. So like, what are you really saying? And care. You gotta, to me, you gotta slow down enough too to be able to do all of those things. So you can't be, doing 10 different things at one time and try to hear and feel and experience and understand. You can't. You have to like slow down enough to be able to say, okay, what are you actually trying to say? And care enough about it to unpack it to that fullest degree. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I like what you said there in reference to like the it wasn't just the emotional side versus the analytical side, but it was more so like listening, right? And I'm trying to remember where I was going to go with this. Like if folks are listening, or if they're hearing and not listening to what they're saying, they've already built like narratives in their minds, right? And this can go both ways. It's not just about women; it's about men too. Like we can build these narratives and stuff in our minds, but if we go with the single most important narrative is like, hey, we're together for a reason, right? Like if assuming that you're in this relationship to want to be able to build and grow with this person and be in a relationship for a long time with this person, then that means like, yo, y'all both went in with the intent to love each other. So if you already have built that narrative from jump, then trying to like being able to see past what that person is saying, whether they're talking out of frustration or the heat of the moment or whatever like that, being able to see past the emotion and everything and actually hear what they're saying. I think that's the narrative that we all need to start with. Yo, we got into this for a reason. We love each other, so that I'm trusting that your intent behind whatever you're saying is still from a place of love, if that makes sense.
I do agree with what you're saying, Mike. I think what I'm learning is that there's a good amount of unlearning I'm having to do though, right? Like there's a good amount of unlearning I'm having to do because culture prior to this has taught me, and to Brandy's point, happy wife, happy life, and it's totally like put off the responsibility or weight, that the necessary weight of saying no, both people need to be fulfilled and happy in this space, not just making your wife happy. The That's the and what's good, Darren? What's going on, bro? Like that's the thing is like I think that that lopsidedness that may have been the move years ago, but I think that as we're migrating, and I think like men are feeling their feelings and feeling devalued or unloved in a lot of ways. It's important for women to understand that the switch has taken place, and that they have to be cognizant of that switch. It's no longer happy wife, happy life. It really is no. What am I doing as a spouse? As since things have changed, as you know, happy spouse, happy house. What am I doing? If I'm not the woman, I'm the man, or whatever case may be. What am I doing? Or if I'm not the man, I'm the woman. What am I doing? Like everybody taking that equal accountability within the marriage of where it falters or faults is very, very important. And I think we put a lot of onus on men that has been unjustifiable and has made it unequal over time.
And what's so funny is I equate it even to our conversation about the church, about how like would the church exist 30 years from now? And my mind, I was thinking about this earlier today, is will relationships of men and women exist the way they've existed 20 years from now? And I do see like a tide turning. Like I'm hoping, because it's like, and I follow a lot of content, and we were talking about this on one of our chats. It's like every time you see a woman out there holding other women accountable, she gets labeled by other women as a pick me. Oh, she's just a pick me. She's just a pick me, and that blows my mind. Like she's a pick me because what? Because she thinks that women should be held accountable, and she thinks that women aren't always right, and she thinks that there's sometimes that women jack up relationships. Meanwhile, when you hear R&B music, when you see movies, all this stuff, 90% of the time, it's the man that is jacked up the relationship. And I said before, I've grown up where I always thought if something was wrong, oh well, what did he do? Well, what did he do? Yeah. And I just feel like that's not. And don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's very. And what I'm always very clear to say is 100%. There are times that men have jacked up relationships. Period. 100%. I'm just presenting a narrative. Is don't get into the comfortable that you think that there are relationships that did not end because it was the woman did not hold her side of the bargain, you know. And it's this phrase that I've picked up, like, you know, like where you ask yourself, do I in the confines of my relationship, do I man well? Do I husband well? Like, what does that mean? Am I like what does that mean? Do I man well to my woman? And on the flip side, as my woman, do I woman well to my man? Do I got this down pat? Like am I really like got this thing moving? And if you are at a part where you're not constantly asking that question, I can't rock with you. Like I literally cannot rock with you if you are not invested on improving yourself to be the best partner you can possibly be for your, like, if you think you're always right, you can't do no wrong, and you want to, I can't rock with you because I'm the part where I don't think that about myself. Like I'm literally always like, man, I don't do this well. I gotta do this better. It sucks hearing it, but I don't like, and I'm like digging into research and digging into like things that like trying to tap into the mindset of a woman, trying to tap into, you know, makes it how they think, you know, etc. Like to be better in that regard. So it's just, I just feel like I can't get with the mentality that, and I see so much. And the thing that makes me mad is I don't mind it when you bash men for saying it. I get really mad when women bash other women for saying it. Like she's literally giving you game right now. She's giving you game that's going to make you a better partner or whatever it is, and you just like, nah, I'm the prize. I'm the golden ticket. You know, and
I think it's wild how like people refuse to view relationships objectively, like in the sense of like it's not always his fault, it's not always her fault. Let's look at it from a cause and effect type situation, right? Like if you done this thing that usually produces this result, then okay. So I guess people usually get to a point where like if you cause this thing, it usually produces this result, but that result is produced differently for each person, right? And for example, like if a woman was to do something to a guy, and she's done this before in the past to this guy, like something needs to turn to say, you know what, maybe I shouldn't do this thing anymore. And vice versa, like for guys too, like if they do this thing constantly each time, and this person responds each time this way, regardless of whatever relationship they're in, at some point in time, you got to start looking at yourself to say, yo, like maybe this shouldn't be a thing that I should be doing. Maybe I should try something differently.
Yeah. I think it's so I agree with you there, Mike, and I also think it's upbringing. So what I'm really learning is like who teaches you? I've said this 1,000 times in this podcast, but who has taught you to be the husband? Who has taught you to be the wife? Someone has to curate that mindset, that mentality, that work ethic. That has to come from somewhere. And I always, when I see things in a deficit, I'm always wondering, well, who taught you that? Right? Like, who taught you how to be a wife? Where did you learn it from? Did you ever even learn it? Who taught you how to be a husband? Where did you learn it from? Did you ever even learn it? Like, these are things that you have to like pinpoint within dating, like, and within marriage. And like, these are the common breaks that happen. Like, I'm talking about 8 years in, 9 years in, 10 years in, like, you know, when you're like, oh, when you start to see the things that aren't like, oh, this doesn't measure up well, and why doesn't it? I think those things are attributed to, well, where did you learn it from? And who are you learning from at this present moment? Who's holding you accountable to who you're supposed to be? These are great questions to ask yourself as you're talking and being married. Bernie says they think it comes from the mom. I disagree. It comes from experience. So I think it does come to a degree from your mother or from you get a lot of your impressions on marriage, I believe, from your parents, I believe. But as far as, so I think, but at the point in which when you're in marriage, let's say your
experiences though, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that's experience. But if your marriage is at a faulty place, who else impacts it other than your parents? Because I don't think it should be just your parents. Your parents did a lot of like in your formidable years, right? And let's say it doesn't always have to be a good marriage, even though they were married, right? So they had impact. But even in a current situation where let's say things are off the rails, who's impacting your marriage now?
Yeah.
Who do you listen? Who do you like listen to? And they say, if they say, and this is a big one right here. Somebody says something to you and you change it immediately. Who has that level of impact that they will say something to you about your life and you hear it and you change it forever? And I almost want to ask the question of like a lot of people, like, when is the last time you've changed?
Yeah, man, that's that's so good. And at least to answer that question, like I told people before, more things are caught than taught. Like, people don't realize that, like, more things, legitimately almost everything that you about you, somebody didn't teach it, but you caught it. You picked it up from someplace. So more things are caught than taught. Even good at, like, for example, I don't think, and I love him to death, I don't think my stepfather taught me anything. As a matter of fact, I have spent more time trying to unlearn things of how his interactions with my mom. That I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so I had to unlearn some things, like, where just like, because this is my end, like, this is what he's showing me, and I'm immediately saying I don't want to take this into my relationship. I'm not going to treat. So I'm unlearning that.
But it sounds like you're not necessarily unlearning it, but it sounds like you did learn from that situation and what not to do.
Yeah. But he didn't sit me down and teach me. I caught that this was probably not the right way to go. This is not the right thing to do. You know, it makes sense, and or etc. And and to John's point, we said earlier, it's like, I think a lot of times what I think have happened over the years, and that's whenever people bring up that stat, young people, they don't stay together these days. Old people stay together. So they were married 67 years. Yeah, there were things were different back then. There are a lot of people who settled. Let's be very clear. There are a lot of people who were married for 67 years and were miserable.
Yeah,
miserable.
It made sense, like, economically.
Yeah,
and it made sense, like, for a sense of like survival too. Think about like the Black community back in like the 50s, the 60s, whatever. Like we kind of had to stay together so we could survive.
Yeah, and that you're not gonna have that. Like this is the generation they're not gonna move like that. There's more opportunities present now. That could be a good thing or a bad thing. Like I said again, there are people in droves. There are a lot of people who are choosing not to get married.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, and like it's record numbers.
Yeah,
you know, and there's so much
which I think is I actually admire. I hate to say, because I think they have a sober view.
Yeah.
A sober view of it. And this is, you guys know, I am not trying to say don't get married, but I am trying to say know what you're getting into when you're saying you want to. It's the same as kids. Like, you know, like
don't
you
just
need to
do it
know what
because
you're
everybody
getting
else
into.
doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
So like that's a big deal for me. Right. And so to some of your points, it's like, so when you see that someone, and this is I guess a really important point of what we're talking about. If you're in your job field and you're like, I am going to excel at this, I'm going to be excellent at this, I'm going to work hard at this, and I'm going to put 100% effort towards this. And then in your kids field, you're like, I'm going to work hard at this, I'm going to do all I can for my kids, I'm going to provide for my kids, I'm going to make sure the kids are good. And then when you get to the husband field, if you're not adding the same amount of effort within all those other fields and adding it to the husband field, there's a problem. And that's what I'm trying to like help highlight in general. It's like we got to do better about trying to say, oh, okay, work life, I'm killing it. Family life, I'm killing it. Or kids life, whatever, I'm killing it. But not learning how to re-implement, because maybe you did it initially, maybe when you, because obviously you were married, so obviously there was some kind of commonality, there was some kind of vibe, there was some kind of energy. So somewhere along the way that was lost, right? And that's why I think a lot of times when we talk about marriage, it's like people are getting a sobering view, I think, because TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, like this social media era where we publicize everything, I think gives people a lens that most didn't have 20 years ago. You know, so I think it's helpful. I think it's
actually helping in the it's actually helping in a good way.
Yeah, so it's just, so all I'm trying to say is that the same effort. It's just what I'm learning is that marriage is actually, when they say it was work, to me it was like it wasn't categorized properly, because work is like you get off at some, you know, at some point you're clocking out, right?
Yeah.
That ain't it. Like within this particular scenario, it's like no. You clock out of work, but like when you get back home and then you don't add a kid or kids to that mixture, you still have even more to do, right? So to me, that clip that you just showed, T, or that we showed, was like, yeah, like there's a certain amount of intentional listening that has to happen again and again and again. That has to say, I'll look past and I'll judge at face value, and I'll also take it home and unpack it. Like I'll actually take it home and figure this thing out. I didn't know, Brandy, you said you proposed twice. Jesus. So she said no twice. So to me, that's dope, because I'm like, you need to know, nah, this ain't it. Now, I don't know why y'all got to the point of proposing, because I feel like if he felt comfortable enough to propose, I don't know what this do. I'm like, nigga, I'm not getting on no knee if I think it's gonna be a no, you know. But
yeah, I mean, but
there
could be different views on that, right? Like he can have a lens of, we ready to get married, but clearly she's like, nah, like there's some things we need to hash out. There's some values you need to understand. So by her saying no, like beyond the whole knowing the worth type situation, but like knowing the worth of like marriage and what that's going to mean later on. It's like, are we on the same page with that? So kudos to you for saying no.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Mike. I said, thank you, God, for saying no. And I hope that as we migrate towards like having more podcasts and conversations like this, that we really do, look to understand and look to unpack, look to like, all right, what more can we try to, learn from these spaces and these situations? Because I think there's a good amount of accountability that needs to happen on women and men's part. Honestly, it's not just one-sided. I don't want to ever make it seem like that. But what I will say is that oftentimes I've seen that men are holding themselves to an accountable situation. And a lot of times I've seen where women are like, oh, pick me. You're a pick me. You want like to Terrence's point, you want to get picked. So that's why you're saying things that men will want to hear. And a lot of men, honestly, because of TikTok, feel like they're being seen, like they feel seen due to the women taking stances like that.
And I saw this. Somebody said on one of those quotes on TikTok, like, "Oh, she's a pick me, she's a pick me," and somebody said, "Well, newsflash, those pick me's are getting picked."
Yeah.
So
they ain't doing something wrong,
right?
They ain't doing something
At the end
wrong.
of the day, and again, if that's your goal, like this is one TikTok lady who I follow, and she might be very truthful. She's very clear, like she don't need no man. It'd be nice. I don't need a man. I don't want a man. I'm good. I got it. And we're so clear. And I'm gonna be very clear. And that's the last thing I'm gonna say. If that's not your goal, first of all, number one, we got to get past where, like, just I got married, John got married, Mike got married, whatever it is. We got to get past this thing where marriage is a goal for everybody.
Yeah,
it's like that thing where it's similar to me when he says, "Well, all kids are going to college."
Mm-hmm.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
And all kids should not go to college.
Right.
If this kid don't like school, don't care about school, he show up 4 hours late, he don't do no work. Yeah. Why am I forcing myself to push him to? He don't care about school. Right. It doesn't mean he can't be successful, but college is the last thing on his mind. Stop. Right. I'm past this thing where marriage is like it should be the prize or the coveted prize, and you've arrived because you got married, and you're now better than everybody else who don't got married. So I got kudos to the girl. She's a great TikTok. She's got 52 million followers. Whatever I think it's Isha F Baby, whatever she is. And some of her content rubs me the wrong way, but what I heard her say was just like she went live. She was like, I'm good. Like I'm good. Do I want a man if he comes along? Sure. And I didn't. She's
not gonna take care of no man. Is that the one she said she's not gonna take
care
of no man?
No, it's not. I'm gonna drop some stuff in that pocket. She has very funny content too.
Okay.
But what I liked about I wasn't taken back and I wasn't offended by her saying it. Some people are. I wasn't triggered because you gotta know yourself, right? Like, and so I appreciate her saying, like, listen, if it comes, it comes. I will survive if it doesn't. But I'm not going to settle just because. And I appreciated that lens. That she realized that number one, this is 2022. Women don't gotta do that. Like this is not the same duration before. Yeah, doesn't make sense.
I appreciate it.
At the flip side, I don't want you to get lost and think that we don't need people. And I think that's the part where I think when you get to the point where you get so far gone that you feel like you don't need people and you got everything by yourself. I don't think that God put us here to not engage and for companionship. And so it's a line, makes sense. And so
you don't
have to be married.
You don't have to be married, but you can have friends or you can have, people around you, community or whatever. Right.
You could be in a relationship. You want to be committed. And like I said, there's pockets of people who say there are pockets of people who are married, but have different houses. And they say it's the best marriage. It's weird, countercultural. But they say my wife lives in this house. My life, I live in this house. I go see her during these dates. It's very weird. But those people are. It is. I don't see nobody else. She don't see anybody else. This is however you choose to do it. If you don't want to get married, don't do it. Just be with somebody.
Let me say I 100% agree with everything Terrence just said. I really appreciate even the fact that he went there and said, please do not think or allow your mind to go there to say, oh, marriage is the goal. Thank you for saying that because it is not the goal. And we are often, I think, and if we really were to sit down, some of us would probably even just like, oh, they're getting married. And if you're dating and the pressure, the looks, the family, well, when y'all going to get married? I see. So it's a lot of, let's not act like there's not added pressure from outside to look into your dating relationship and say, oh yeah, you need to be together. No, like Brandy said, happiness is the goal. And to that point, you don't want to rush something to just be along the same trajectory or the same, time span of everybody else. Everybody else getting married, so I'm gonna get married too. And then you end up getting married and divorced because you're so pressed to be on the same trajectory as somebody else. Like literally, you have to think for yourself. Like I think Darren's saying, independently thinking for yourself and saying, hey, I'm going to drag myself away from the masses and figure out, is this person right for me? Am I right for this person? and see if we can actually strike something that's magical, that can be, you know, happiness for 30, 40, 50 years.
Absolutely.
You know, this
Yeah,
stuff that we do that you're talking about now is just trash. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
It definitely takes a certain level of self-awareness to even get to that point. And with that self-awareness comes with like accountability, right? So I know we've talked about accountability and stuff all the times within the podcast, whether we're referencing like relationships and stuff like that. But I guess accountability would be underneath that umbrella of like self-awareness. And once you build that level of self-awareness, you get to a point where it's like, yo, I don't have to follow the crowd in reference to whatever this trend is. You know, if the trend is marriage, that ain't really what I'm rocking with. Knowing myself and understanding myself in this situation, in this point in time, that ain't for me right now. So therefore, I'm not, right? Not just because I'm getting the dirty looks from the aunties and the grandmas or grandparents, whatever. It's like, that's not me right now because of X, Y, and Z. And I'm okay with that. So shout out to the people with self-awareness, man, and promoting, you know, self-growth, understanding yourself in a way of like making sure that you're happy at the end of the day. So
that's all that freaking matters. And don't you be pressed about no ring either. All that stuff is stupid. You gotta be married to that person afterwards. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to the Valencia Real podcast, where we discuss real, raw, and relatable topics. Brandy said, does my spouse meet my needs? That's exactly right. Does that person meet your needs? That's exactly what we're trying to make sure we figure out within our worlds, and like making sure, are we meeting our spouse's needs and vice versa. Guys, we appreciate each and every view, whether you hopped on for a few seconds, pause, or whether you just hop back off. We appreciate it so much, and we would hope that you would go ahead and check out us on iTunes and leave a nice little kind review saying what you thought about the podcast. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. We're always going to be here on Wednesday at 8 p.m. So my name is John.
My name's Mike.
And John, when you was in the massage thing, did he slap that ass, or did he like slap that ass? I'm just trying to figure out when he got to that part. Did he like, you know? I
knew I shouldn't have shared it, you know, but I will say that he stopped at the lower back area.
So he didn't. No, you know.
Guys, thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast today.